Hello, happy Friday, everybody. How are ya? When you join, please let me know where you are viewing from. I would love to know that. I have just been chatting with somebody from India, and he just sent me a bunch of his photos of his farm and animals. It's so cool. It's one of the things I love about Facebook is you meet cool people from all over the world. So do let me know where you're at and answer this question. Do you think you have good posture or bad posture? Because that's what we're talking about today. We're going to talk about how crappy your posture is and a few things you can do about it. It's going to be a quick show today. I don't want to take up too much of your Friday. I have a 30-year reunion to get to, so we're going to be taking off for that. And I'm very excited about that. And I was so starving just before this show. Clifford, so good to see you. I was so starving just before this show. I ran to get a poke bowl, apparently Clifford would correct me on that, poke bowl. And I realized I had no wallet. And my husband is out for lunch with a friend. I happen to know what restaurant, so I literally drove over there, broke into his car because that's where my wallet was, and ran and got my yummy bowl, and I just scarfed it down, and so I could have lots of energy for you. Who loves poke? I do. It's delicious. And it's paleo if you do it right. So when I go, I don't get any rice or anything, just a bunch of greens and a bunch of fish on top, and then some seaweed and some ginger and some wasabi, and it's so delicious. Okay, we're going to get started. Don't forget that this is the Junk You Should Know show. I am Dr. Heather Denniston, and if you are enjoying the Junk You Should Know show, don't forget that my YouTube channel has them all on there in one place. And so if you go to YouTube and put in Well Fit and Fed, you are going to find all the junk you want. And that'll be great because we've been talking about all sorts of different things these last few weeks. And I just did the schedule for the shows for the rest of September and all of October. And I've got some great people coming. So I'm super excited. Show is sponsored by The Change Cave. The Change Cave is a 12-module online learning institute with weekly newscasts, monthly mindset classes, and a fierce group of like-minded wellness warriors who are all ready to support you. And for currently the price is $23.99, but it's going up on Saturday. So if you are interested at all, click the link in the comments and check it out. Posture. Yes. Why is it a problem for us now? Who can tell me? There are some pretty key reasons why people in the past, in the 50s and the 60s and before that, had beautiful posture, and why we have crappy posture. It's more common than not. Almost everybody has posture fails in some way, shape, or other. Have you ever just walked through the mall and looked at particularly teenage girls standing in a group, all hunched over, and what are they doing? They're looking at their phone. So posture was killed as we started doing this. Also working on a laptop all the time, at least desktop monitors are ergonomically pretty sound. But the problem is when you sit too much and when you are working on a laptop, so your keyboard monitor ratio is not appropriate, then you're just going to be slouching. And so sedentary, cell phones, laptops, and it's not a focus anymore. Like, I can remember, I think my mom was the last generation who actually told their daughters to stand up straight and actually trained it into them. I can remember putting books on my head. Yeah, so there was that, and we don't focus on that anymore. It's not a point of contention. We let it happen, and as a chiropractor, it is not just sad, it's actually terrifying because posture isn't just about aesthetics. It's not just looking bad. It's the long-term effect it has on you all the way up to your brain. So part of the issue is when we start to lose our posture and we're kind of like this. Do you see where my head is? As your head falls forward off the shoulders, every 10 degrees it's off your shoulders is an extra 10 pounds of force and wear and tear on your upper spine. So welcome neck problems and chronic pain and that kind of thing. And Clifford, who's watching right now, he has incredible posture. And I think part of the reason is not only because he's a personal trainer, but he also loves to dance. And dance has incredibly positive effects on posture. So we have forward head carriage. We get all very roundy. It's early wear and tear on the spine. As we get older, if our posture gets kind of stuck in this position, then we lose functionality, because guess what? You can't reach up as high if your neck is too far forward and your shoulders are rounded. I've got here. If I'm here, I can get all the way back up here. So functionally, we lose ground. And the minute we start losing functional ability physically, our late life experience is not going to be as pleasant as we might hope. So that's a big key as well. When you have poor posture, it affects your balance, and balance later in life is absolutely key, because the minute you start having spills and falls, that's a whole different trajectory of late life that you are going to experience, which is not what you would want either. So people don't realize poor posture, long-term, going to decrease your balance. It's going to degenerate your spine more quickly. It's actually going to affect cognitive ability. They have figured out that anterior head carriage puts stress and strain. Guess what's in there? Your spinal cord, right? And your brain stem. And it can affect cognitive ability long-term. And so we want, obviously, to know that and to make it a battle. So if you have children, please encourage them to stand up straight. And I can't tell you how many times in my office I would look out in the lobby and they're there for their chiropractic adjustment, and they're sitting scooched way down in the chair with their head forced forward, looking at their cell phones, all the teenagers. And so the minute I got them back into the room, I gave them a talking to about their posture when they're seated and how it's going to affect them long term, and how it's so difficult to correct down the road because your ligaments lengthen when you have poor posture, and to tighten those back up is very difficult so that you can stand up straight. Don't you agree that sometimes like this just feels easier? And it's because we've stretched out those ligaments, the muscles aren't supporting, and so this is just kind of easier, which is really unfortunate, because then it becomes our default, and we don't want that. All right. So we're going to get into some exercises, super simple exercises for posture. We're going to start with the easiest and go to the hardest. And these are things you should be doing all the time. Whenever you think about it, be doing these. So number one, hands on thighs. Okay, I am not seated, but I'm going to just tilt down a little bit. And if I were seated and I put my hands on my thighs and I pressed into my thighs and pulled back without moving my hands, that fires the muscles underneath your shoulder blades to pull them together and pull them down, which puts your posture into a really good position. So all you need to do is hands on thighs, push down, and then pull back by using your shoulder blades. Brings your shoulder blades back and down, turns on those muscles that need to be there for posture and for postural strength. Hi, Laura. Thank you for joining. And it's all you have to do is hold it for 10 to 15 seconds and just repeat it. So if you sit at a desk a whole bunch, then do that regularly. Push your hands down, pull back, and it just pulls those shoulder blades back and down. Okay? Basic. That is so easy. That's just hands on knees. Now, if you have a piece of tubing, which I happen to, all you need to do, this is such a great one too. And so if you go to the gym or you have your own tubing, then this is a really good one to do. You grab it with not a lot of space in between, okay? Like this, thumbs up, okay? Thumbs up. You bring the elbows in nice and tight, and all you do, I'll drop that down a little bit. Okay, in nice and tight, and you pull out and hold. And I'm gonna just loosen it off a little bit. You'll know when you feel like you've got the tension right, because you wanna be able to do 10 or 12 of these, okay? And hold and bring it back. And you're using all shoulder blade to do this, okay? I can feel that already, and I do these actually pretty regularly. And you can just see it's opening up my chest, it's utilizing range of motion in the shoulders, and it's firing up all those postural mid-back and shoulder muscles. Okay, that's tubing. Now, wall stretch, this is number 3. This is the more complicated. Okay, I'm hoping I can do this with my headphones. So I'm going to tilt that down just a little bit. You are going to, hold on. Whoa. I'm going to move you back so you can see a little better. What you're going to be doing is you're going to get against a wall, okay? You're going to drop your knees. You're going to bend your knees and just lean against the wall. Now, it's not going to work if your feet are too close to the wall. So you want to step out a little bit and then drop back into the wall. So my feet are out and I've dropped my knees just a little bit, okay? And I'll tilt you down here in just a second. What you're going to do from there is you're going to flatten your low back against the wall. I should not be able to fit my hand into the arch of my back at all. It's going to be so flat by contracting your core, pushing your back against the wall, that I can't get my hand in there. That's number one. Then number two is you are going to translate your chin back. So you're going to tuck your chin and pull it back, okay? So that your whole spine is approximating the wall. Now, of course, it's not going to all touch the wall because it's just not going to happen, especially if your forward head carriage is pretty bad. You are going to have a hard time. So I'm flattening my low back and then tucking your chin and bringing it back. Some people cannot touch their head back, and don't panic about that, but it is a sign that you lack flexibility in your upper back and that possibly your posture needs a lot of work. So you just go as far back as you can, okay? Once you feel it kind of in between your shoulders, you know you're in the right position. So if that's all you can do, that's fine. That's step number one. So you flatten low back, get your feet out and your knees bent, flatten low back, flatten neck. So this is kind of what it looks like. I'm going to tilt you down again. There we go. Okay. So I'm flattening my low back. I'm tucking my chin and pushing it back. Now, let's say I'm against the wall, okay, doing my thing. You're going to bring arms out like this, and you're going to breathe in and out, and in and out. That's step two. Step three is breathe in and out, and in and out. The whole time, the backs of my arms are eventually against the wall, okay? So I'm like this, and I breathe in and out, and in and out. That is actually really hard. And so when you first start, you may just want to do the pressure against the wall and hold for counts of 10. Then you start with the basic where you just go and use your shoulder blades to rotate those arms up, and then eventually move to the advanced. So you're here, then you're here, up and down, and like that. Now, if you have rotator cuff problems or shoulder problems and it hurts to do that, or it's snapping a whole lot, please don't continue. One trick you can do is bring your elbows in like this and just do it this way. Kind of like you're using the tubing, but without the tubing. If you are doing, those motions and your shoulders are snapping and popping, it's going to end up creating inflammation if you overdo it, and then you're not going to like me very much after that. Okay, so we talked about hands down, pull back to fire up those shoulders. We talked about tubing, okay, with thumb up and elbows in tight to the side and expand in and out, okay? And then we talked about wall stretch, where you get against the wall, drop your knees, flatten your low back, tuck your chin, and you breathe in and out and in and out. I would recommend with the hand pull, hands on thighs, do about 20 to 30 of those at a time, okay? With the tubing, 12, do 3 sets of 12. And with the wall stretch, I am so sorry, I ate my poke bowl so fast, it's kind of like gurgling around in here. So if you're hearing my stomach, I apologize. Wall stretch, just start with 10. Okay, 10 of the easy, and then see how you feel. When I do wall stretch, when I come away, I'm like, ooh, I'm standing up straight, and it feels so good. So repeat that one regularly. The wall stretch, I think, has to be my favorite. Another reason we have crappy posture is because we're rolled forward like this. And so then what happens? These pec muscles shorten and it becomes even hard for us to stand up straight. So a bonus move is to be stretching your pectoral muscles. And the best way to do that is get in a door frame, hand on either side of the door frame, take a step through. All right. Now, one thing people forget to do is you want to do 3 different positions. So you want to get the couple different angles of the pec muscle. So start in the middle, hands on either side, stretch through, and then come back, and then down low, stretch through. You'll feel it stretch a different part. And then nice and high, and stretch through. Okay. When you're holding your stretches, how long do we hold them for? Right, 20 to 30 seconds minimum, or it just kind of feels good. It actually doesn't fully stretch the muscles. So make sure you're stretching for at least 20 or 30 seconds. Some additional things for posture: move. Just get up and move around. Be moving as much as you can, and that will help your posture, okay? It's sedentary living. It's being static. It's not moving that causes the slow kind of, okay? Changing your work position. So don't sit all the time. Don't stand all the time. Alternate so that your body isn't just in one position all the time. You should also make sure your workouts include posture moves. So maybe add to your workout this tubing move that you could do. Just do it, every time you work out, or things like planking, anything that I'll tell you, we had Reed on the show a few weeks ago. He is an awesome physical therapist, and he was saying to me how common it is that people work out the front because that's what they see in the mirror. So they work out their biceps and their chest and all those things, but we forget to work our backs. And so that's really key for posture. So any weight training exercise that works back, okay, lat pull downs, inverse flies, things like that are great for the shoulder and mid-back area. Balance moves like you would do in Pilates or yoga or Tai Chi, any of those types of practices. And I just work them into my regular workout. I go to yoga classes sometimes, but I also just try to do a little bit of yoga or a little Pilates each time I work out. And that is key for posture too. Here's a big one. Listen to me. Sleep is still a posture, okay? And you're sleeping, hopefully, for 7 to 8 hours a night. Consider how you're sleeping. Are you curled up in a ball like this? Well, that's not good for your posture. So make sure when you're sleeping, you're in a good posture. Don't let those shoulders collapse in or up like this. Try to build yourself a good posture. So the way I do it is I use a Tempur-Pedic pillow that is curvy. And so that fills in my neck here. Then I hug a big fat pillow to my chest so that I keep my chest open and I don't end up like this. And then I put a pillow between my knees so I don't twist. And I know that sounds like a lot of pillows, but it works. And then you're kind of working on your posture while you're sleeping instead of working against it. Many people forget that point. Don't fall for postural stabilizers, okay? You've seen them in the magazines. They go around here and they pull your shoulders back and you wear them under your shirt. They're just stupid, in my opinion. They do hold you up, but they're not changing anything for you. They're not training anything. In my opinion, some temporary, very specific physical therapist or chiropractor applied taping can help turn on some muscles and turn off others so that your posture starts to fire better. But that's under the guidance of a professional associated with some take-home exercises that can work. But just purchasing one of those posture stabilizers that you strap yourself into, don't bother, okay? Sleep posture, postural stabilizers. Oh, tennis ball. And I forgot to bring one with me. But using a tennis ball, get against the wall and drop your tennis ball in here. I do this, drop it in, find a spot, get your butt off the wall and start working on those muscles between your shoulders because often they're tight and tired and sore. And so if you can loosen them up, that can be helpful too. Keep in mind that our muscles spasm up and get tight and sore often because they're weak. If they were strong, they could just kind of relax and stabilize and hold you upright, but because they're not strong, they have to constantly be contracting and tight, and then they get fatigued, and then you get sore, and you're wondering why your mid-back is tight all the time. So loosen them up with a tennis ball, but then we have to work those postural exercises. Okay, that's all I've got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Please tune in every Friday at noon PST for the Junk You Should Know show. I would love to have you join me again. And thank you for those of you who watched live. I love interacting with you live, but if you're watching the replay, I love you just as much. Thank you so much. And please leave some notes in the comments so I can come back and answer any questions that you have, okay? All right, have a great weekend. I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.